I hope you all are having a fantastic afternoon. This is Atmospheric Alex here reporting to you with a U.S. weather forecast with a little bit of some more regional forecasts as well. Alright, so let's get started here with your temperature outlook over the next 10 days. Here we are looking at the GFS model right there. And we're going to begin to see a bit of a warm-up coming back, it looks like. So let's take a look at the GFS model for our temperatures over the days and the nights ahead. You could see a lot of warm, even hot temperatures here across the west out there. That is something to really note there. And a gradual warm up, for the central U.S., the southeast down here, back into your upper 80s to low 90s, a much more typical summertime heat that will be building right back in again. Now, as we continue through time, I still have overnight lows that are a little bit better than they were before, which is very, very nice indeed. And you can see, your high temperatures get a little squashed out here in the southeast due to daytime thunderstorm activity that will be ongoing. We'll talk about that in a minute here when we get to our precipitation outlook. And you can see hot temperatures, again, returning here for portions of the high plains up there. Using the color red here to demonstrate it will be hot up there. Temperatures getting up to around 105 degrees in some areas. If you have to be outside, do it for only limited amounts of time and be very cautious. Now, continuing on through, that warm-up continues here across the high plains and the general plains, across the central U.S. It gets even hotter. I mean, this is just a story for summertime, isn't it, at this point? You typically see this heat. A lot of thunderstorm activity going on. Again, a minute, we'll talk about that. And again, just very, very hot across those areas as this big heat wave starts to build in heading into early August. I mean, take a look at this. You have got temperatures here peaking over 110 degrees. So very, very hot and dry conditions out there. Please be very, very cautious. And this will continue here. And temperatures, you can see here with the marker 118 degrees. Now, I would feel free to take this with a grain of salt here. This is relatively far out, and there is a chance that this changes a lot. Especially since the European model isn't fully on board with this either. So just remember that when you're looking at these models. Alright, now for your precipitation outlook over the next 10 days. Again, this goes very far out, so please take this with a grain of salt. I'm only looking at this for the overall pattern and not the forecast. Okay, you can't exactly tell where storms are going to be 10 days from now in a localized area. As we continue to see, we have, lots and lots of convection going on down here across, southern Texas along the Gulf Coast there. We'll have a bit of a stalled boundary right there leading to a ton of storm activity, maybe some localized flash flooding out there as well. But that's not necessarily the main story here. We're talking about a bit of a monsoon starting to return here across Arizona. Which I'm expecting here. And then across the southeast, you got this active pattern still ongoing here. You got all your Gulf moisture streaming up to the north and to the east here. That will allow for very humid conditions with that heat in effect and near daily thunderstorm chances. What everyone needed out in this area, thankfully. Now, continuing through this all goes into the northeast a little bit more. And your active pattern still remains in effect, and just notice your monsoon shows no signs of stopping. This is already, we're talking the 25th, this is already Thursday, and we're still seeing constant monsoon activity out for Arizona. Okay, so now what we're seeing here, same exact thing, same active pattern here. We'll keep going and going and going. Maybe some flooding issues, possibly getting into extreme late July, early August for the southeast, the mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley. We'll have to wait and see, though, on that. And that will just continue. Again, monsoon conditions still spiking out there, and you have some organization to some of these systems here. A northwest flow begins, so, if you're out here in the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, southeast, I would actually monitor for maybe a bit more organized severe weather potential as we head into the 31st, into the 1st and the 2nd, and maybe even beyond that a little bit. And that'll take us right out to our 10-day mark. We have, look at this. I mean, yeah, like I said, northwest flow really kicking up in high gear again. Big time MCS system up there. Just need to kind of monitor that. Again, this model isn't saying that this will happen. What it's saying is that this is the pattern we're going into, just to keep that in mind. You're probably wondering, well, how much rain are we expecting over this 15-day period? I've got the answer for you. Kind of. I mean, this is just one ensemble model, but it gives you a great idea. Averaged over 20 members, you can see a pretty good concentration of rain here, across portions of the Gulf Coast, and even getting into portions of the Mid-Atlantic here. So, very stormy conditions overall for those areas. You'll begin to notice how the Appalachia region begins to light up here. Look at all this rain falling in the mountains. Then your monsoon, towards the end of the period, really begins to get established out there. So, at the end of our 2-week period, let's see our totals, right? Let's see I would say the high end of this. I know it's the mean and everything, but I do think this will be more of the high end totals here. You could see across portions of the southwest here, 1 to 2, maybe even 3 inches in localized spots. Areas across the Gulf Coast here of Texas, upwards of maybe 4 to 6 inches. That is quite a bit of rain over the next 2 weeks. Not really well deserved since Beryl just came barreling through there, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about a lot of rain for the Appalachia region, 4 to 6 inches widespread here. You could even see higher totals up in the mountains as well, so we'll just keep an eye on that. The northeast, upwards of 3 inches as well. So, hey, bit of a wet, stormy pattern over the next 2 weeks, which is very good news for areas that need the rain, that haven't seen it much so far this summer. Alright, well that about does it with today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to hit the like button. That'll help it spread throughout YouTube and grow my little corner of the weather community. Anyways, I hope to see you all in the next video. Goodbye.